Here are 5 harsh truths about why you are not getting the respect at work that you deserve.
I'm smart and I want respect!
There's a belief that most high-performing people hold, and it usually goes something like this. I do great work consistently, I will get noticed, recognized, and I will get respect in the office. If I keep doing what I'm doing, if I keep delivering, if I'm always reliable, I will just naturally get respect for it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Which is a very reasonable belief, and in most environments, also wrong.
Wrong.
Not because the work doesn't matter, it certainly does. Competence is the foundation, but competence alone, being excellent, being skilled, being great at what you do, does not automatically translate into respect. And for a lot of capable people, that gap is costing them more than they even realize. In their careers, on their teams, with their own mental health.
I'm freaking out, man.
In this video, you're gonna learn the truth about why that happens and how to actually close that gap. But first, if you're new here, my name is Brian Bradshaw. I'm author of the book Accomplish Anything and founder of The Social Edge. And on this channel, we talk about communication skills, confidence, charisma. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Harsh truth number 1, the belief that keeps most high-performing people in the workplace stuck. And the belief is this, that good work should speak for itself, and that's all you need.
Bullshit!
And it kind of makes logical sense, right? You're the dependable person. You're the one who always shows up on time. You're the one who doesn't cut corners. You're the one that people come to for answers about how to do certain tasks. You deliver consistently, and it almost feels like distasteful that you should have to do anything above and beyond that to get more noticed. But here's what this belief misses. Respect isn't assigned by a neural system that evaluates performance objectively and distributes recognition accordingly. Respect is a social experience. It's formed through impressions, repeated interactions, and stories that other people tell about you when you're not around. And the ingredients that shape those impressions are not limited to the quality of your work. They include how you carry yourself, how clearly you communicate, how people feel after talking to you, whether your presence and your ideas make people feel more confident or less confident in the direction that they're going. And my thesis here is very direct. Respect is not just given by how good you are at your job. It's earned through how effectively others experience the value that you bring. Those are 2 different things, and the gap between them is where most high-performing people stall out. Harsh truth number 2, competence is invisible unless people can see it. The first reason that competence doesn't automatically earn respect is very simple. If the people who matter, the decision makers, the leadership, if they don't know what you're doing, they can't evaluate it. This sounds obvious, but the number of talented people operating quietly in the background, producing exceptional work, solving problems, carrying a lot of the weight, without ensuring the right people have any visibility into that contribution is significant. And here's what really makes this uncomfortable. A lot of high performers naturally resist the need for visibility. It feels like bragging. It feels like ego.
I am the greatest!
It feels like the work that you're getting paid to do should be enough, and anything above that is kind of icky.
Icky.
But visibility is not self-promotion. Self-promotion is overstating what you've already done. Visibility is simply making sure the people who need to know what you're doing actually know how good you're doing it.
No shit.
There's a difference between saying, look how great I am, and saying, here's what I built, here's the problem we solved, here's how it helps moving forward. One is ego, the other is effective communication. And without it, even exceptional work can disappear in the background. Please remember this because it's very important. Excellent work, hidden in the dark, rarely receives the credit it deserves in the light. The people who get recognized consistently over time are not always the best performers in the room, and you know this.
That's the fact, Jack!
They're usually the people whose contributions are the most visible to the people who make the decisions. That's not being cynical, that's being accurate. And once you accept this fact, gaining visibility stops feeling like a vanity project and something that is necessary for your career moving forward. Harsh truth number 3. People judge confidence before they judge competence. Here's something that can be uncomfortable, but it's important to understand about how human beings form relationships.
This is important.
Right or wrong, we don't always evaluate competence first, we usually evaluate confidence first. Before someone has even assessed the value of the quality of your work, your thinking, your solutions, they've already formed an impression on you based on how you carry yourself. Your body language, your tone of voice, the pace at which you speak, how you handle yourself in a difficult conversation, whether you hold your position when you're challenged, or you immediately start qualifying everything you say. This isn't fair, and it doesn't require your agreement to be true.
Oh, that was way harsh.
Research on what's sometimes called executive presence continuously finds that people make rapid judgments about capability based on signals that have nothing to do with your actual capability. Someone who communicates with ease, who speaks with confidence, who doesn't visibly shrink when questioned, they read as more competent, even when the underlying knowledge is identical to someone who hedges or qualifies or rushes. The person who stumbles over their explanation of a good idea loses the room before they've even had a chance to evaluate the idea. The person who articulates a slightly weaker idea, even if they don't know what they're talking about, but does it with clarity, composure, and certainty, they're the ones that get noticed. That's reality. And what it means is developing the ability to communicate from a place of calm, confidence, certainty isn't just a superficial addition to your personality. It is a prerequisite for your competence being noticed. Fair or unfair, whether you accept it or not, people often assess your confidence before your competence. The question isn't whether or not you agree with it. The question is, are you going to do something about it or not? Harsh truth number 4, emotional intelligence makes competence easier to trust. There's a version of competence that's undeniable on paper, but difficult to work with in person. You've met this person. You've probably worked for a person like this. Technically brilliant, genuinely skilled, and somehow being around them is exhausting. Their feedback lands like judgment. Their certainty makes others feel small. They solve problems efficiently, but as soon as they leave the room, there's a residue of friction wherever they go. That friction is a trust problem. And when there's a trust problem, competence doesn't get to fully express itself. People don't solely rely on just how skilled you are. They decide whether your skill is safe to be relied upon, whether your judgment can be trusted across different contexts. Emotional intelligence, the ability to read a room, to communicate in a way that makes other people feel safe and respected and heard, to manage conflict without generating resentment, to deliver harsh truths that people can actually take and accept, is not separate from professional effectiveness. It is the layer that makes professional effectiveness noticeable to everyone around you. People trust people who make them feel understood. That's not just a platitude. That is a social reality. Respect grows when people trust not just your expertise, but your judgment. And judgment isn't often demonstrated in just the work you produce. It's demonstrated in how you handle situations where you don't have the answer.
Godfather, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
How you treat other people when the pressure is on, when the deadline is due. And whether the experience of repeatedly working with you builds confidence or slowly erodes it. And finally, harsh truth number 5, communication multiplies confidence. Here's something to think about. In your work, in your office, pick 2 people. Maybe they've been there the same amount of time. They have the same amount of experience, the same amount of training, the same amount of technical know-how and capability. Put them in a room with a leader or a decision maker, maybe a new leader comes in, and they have to make a decision based on an evaluation of some complex ideas that you guys are dealing with at work. The first person knows the answer. They explain it completely, thoroughly. They go into all the details, explaining every little nuance because they want to get it right. The second person also knows the answer. They explain it simply and they boil it down and frame it in a way that the decision maker can clearly understand it and makes it easy for them to make a decision. The first person is correct. The second person is persuasive. And in most organizations, in most meetings, the persuasive argument wins. Not because accuracy doesn't matter, of course it matters, but because the person who can explain what they know in a way that their audience actually receives it, right? Who can translate the expertise into clarity, who can frame a recommendation so the person across the table feels equipped to make a decision rather than overwhelmed, that person's competence gets used. The other person's competence gets noted. Competence creates value, communication makes it visible. This is why the ability to simplify, to explain things in simple terms, to communicate with certainty, clarity, and confidence, it's not just a prerequisite or a nice skill to have, it is a force multiplier in your career. Two equally competent people and two dramatically different communication styles. They will receive dramatically different levels of respect and opportunities for promotions, bonuses, and advancement. This gap is not talent, it's not personality, it's a learnable skill. The final piece, and probably the most important, is this. Respect is not assigned, it's earned over time. It accumulates through repeated interactions, through the experience of you being reliable when it was needed most. Right? When you were composed and kept your calm when things got hard and fires needed to be put out. When you were honest when it was easier to just sugarcoat and make excuses. Through conversations that left your boss, your leadership, more certain in the way forward. People gain respect for the person they repeatedly experience, not only just the resume that they read once. This means the building blocks of respect aren't just achievements, they're moments. The moment you remain calm when everyone else is spazzing out. The moment when you gave credit to your team for a job well done rather than just accepting it as you were the superstar. The moment where you were honest about what you didn't know and were committed to getting the right answer rather than just BSing somebody. All of these experiences are being registered by the people around you all the time. Respect is emotional. It's relational. It's built in the repetition of ordinary everyday actions. And the good news is that means it's available to you through not just the work you produce, but how you show up and make people feel. Essentially, the essence of this entire channel. Okay, so what are some things you can actually do? Like, what are some action steps you can start implementing in your life, in your office today? Step number 1, make your contributions visible strategically and regularly. Simple. Pick one stakeholder in your organization who doesn't have visibility on what you're doing and put yourself in a position to explain what you're doing. They might have heard about the outcome that you produced and said, oh, that's a good job, but they didn't know you did it or how in depth what you did really was. It could be as simple as a little note. It can be as simple as a quick conversation in passing or in the men's room at the urinal. Do it small, do it consistently, and it won't feel like self-promotion. It becomes a communication habit that ensures the people who need to know that you're doing the great work actually know about it. Step number 2, audit your communication style when you're under pressure. Think about the last time you were challenged on something at work that you know really well. Did you hold your place with calm and with certainty? Or did you start qualifying and say, I guess you're right? Did you slow down your communication? Or did you speed it up and get real rapid because you're really excited and you're nervous? Next time you're in a high stakes conversation, right? An important meeting, an overview, a moment where your thinking is being tested, slow down, take a deep breath, remain calm. If you know the answer, stand on certainty. Stand on your competence. Don't just rush in and blurt out words because you're so excited to prove how smart you are, right? Show the people in the room through your actions, through your behavior that you're calm, you're composed, you got this. And you will dramatically stand out against the people that always respond with anxiety. Step number 3, listen to understand, not just to respond. In your next important meeting or briefing or conversation, set this one intention. Don't prepare your rebuttal, your next point, what you're going to say while the other person is still talking. Don't just listen to what they're saying, really feel what they're actually meaning, and then acknowledge that before you respond. This one singular habit, the full receipt of what they're communicating before you react and respond, changes how people experience you maybe more than anything else. It is the foundation of being easy to trust. And the last step is to really be intentional and notice how people respond to you or feel about you after the conversation, after the meeting. Not the words you said, but how you made them feel. After your next significant conversation, a meeting, a one-on-one, a difficult exchange, ask yourself, did that person leave feeling clearer, more confident, more certain about the direction we're going? Or did they leave feeling judged or managed or dismissed? You don't have to answer this out loud, but answer it privately every single time. Start to notice how you're making people feel when you're communicating your ideas or listening to theirs. Those experiences and those conversations, that's what builds trust and respect over time. All right, so competence in what you do is not negotiable. It is the bedrock, it is the foundation. Step number 0, be good at what you do. Be the best at what you do. But competence alone is not enough to build the respect and recognition that you feel you deserve. The gap between what you know and the respect that you get is almost never a talent gap. It's a visibility gap. It's a communication, a trust gap. And those are all closable. Not overnight, it takes time, but the way you show up in ordinary, everyday moments, how you explain your ideas, how you listen, how you make people feel when you communicate, right? Respect isn't just waiting for you to get better at your job. It's waiting for people to experience who you really are. If this struck a nerve with you, if this hit something down deep where you're like, you intuitively knew this, like, I know I'm good at my job, how come I'm not getting respected? I hope this provided a new perspective for you. And I want to hear from you. Let me know down below. Leave a comment. Did this change the way you think about things? Is this something like you already kind of knew, but didn't know how to articulate? And if you want to go even further on this topic, I'll have a link down below to my article on Substack where I go much deeper. And if you've made it this far for the end, I appreciate you. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.